Hello. Welcome to Al's place. There seems to be a lot of twat waffles out there right now. Who are getting us hated with their actions. My job is to expose them. And that's what I aim to do. I'm coming for you. I'm calling you out on your shit.
I am a human being. I'm a trans woman. I exist. I am real. And trans children are real too. I was a trans child. Trans and non-binary children deserve access to medical care.
Hello. My name's Ellie. And I too am a trans woman. And I too exist. And I too am valid. But I don't agree about the children, non-binary and trans children getting care. And I'll start with, let's have a look at the whole concept of care. Care involves dangerous puberty blockers and setting them up for surgery when they're 16-ish, 14, 16-ish. Essentially taking their childhood. Now, I'm of one of the trans women who think that children cannot consent to such a thing. Children have no clue what they're walking into. Now, myself and all my trans sisters, we know exactly what we walked into, and the ones who haven't walked into are walking in eyes wide open. But these kids do not realize that they're going to have to dilate constantly for the rest of their lives, that they're going to have to take medications for the rest of their lives, and that their lives will become harder and not easier. I mean, there's a lot of the truths that these children are not being told, and because people like you are pimping out fallacies. Now, let me get to my other point. Trans and non-binary. Okay, well, do you not see the confliction there? Non-binary means you're not accepting of either gender. So how can you possibly be gender afflicted enough to need care if you're non-binary? And if you have no gender, then you're not trans. So why would you need care? The only care they might need is psychiatric care. But there is no physical pill you can give a non-binary child, except maybe some acid. But other than that, there's nothing that's going to do them any good. Quit giving children dangerous medications when you yourself don't even know what you're talking about. Carry on.
That will make them happy, that will help them cope with the distress of being born in the incorrect body. And to be honest, denying them of puberty blockers, denying them of this treatment is nothing short of child abuse. It must be overturned. The pause on puberty blockers being prescribed to trans and non-binary children in Scotland must be withdrawn.
Okay, I can see we have a difference of opinions. Child abuse, to me, is manipulating a child into thinking they're the wrong gender and then slicing off this medication that was not meant for that purpose to stop their puberty, which every person on the planet should go through. It decides who you are physically, mentally, emotionally, and sexually. They're all decided through puberty. So you're denying these children of being who they should be because you're not allowing them to go through puberty. And if you look at the ratio of children who didn't take the puberty blockers, and by the time they got through puberty, they didn't feel as they were transgender anymore and were happy in their own bodies. So you call that child abuse? I don't. I call that fate. Fate is strong. Fate is meant to be. So before you pimp off medications and treatments for children, saying if you don't give this to them, they'll die, let me tell you a little something. The suicide rate is skyrocketed right now. But in all the states in the U.S. that canceled affirmative care, and I'm using that word loosely, affirmative care, the suicide rate went down drastically. So my thoughts are, this drug, this puberty blocker, might cause suicidal tendencies. And I know for sure that a good portion of the kids that take it are now sterile. They can never procreate. If they back out of their transition and decide it was just a phase, I want to have babies and have a family and stuff, they can't. They're now sterile. And all because of people like you pimping this off as some sort of treatment. What you're doing is morally incomprehensible, but it's actually illegal. It's actually what you are doing is child abuse. Carry on.
It must be resumed. Care and access to puberty blockers must be resumed for all trans and non-binary children in Scotland, if indeed the UK. But I urge you all to email your MSPs and ask them to contact NHS Greater Glasgow and Clyde to tell them to rethink and reverse their decision to pause puberty blockers. Lives will be lost. Lives like mine here will be lost if these puberty blockers are continued to be paused. If the pause on puberty blockers continues, trans people like myself will die.
No, they need to keep that pause on, and they need to investigate everything about what has happened and how it was done. And again, you're including non-binary and trans children in the same treatment. Why do non-binary kids need treatment at all? If they're not attached to any gender, then how are they gender afflicted or conflicted? Please explain this to me like I'm a 5-year-old. I'm not getting it. Carry on.
I repeat, trans people like me will die. This is an emergency. Please urge your MSPs to email to contact NHS Greater Glasgow to overturn the decision to pause puberty blockers.
Okay, so you think kids are going to die if they don't get treatment? That's interesting. You know, the suicide rate is over 60% for trans people. And a lot of that comes from various reasons. But I feel a good portion of it is the medications that we are given and how we are given them. You see, because here, I had to go through 6 months of mental assessments. I had to go through the whole team and then to the doctor to get my T blockers. That's just the T blockers. That's no hormones, because you have to bring down your testosterone or your estrogen before you can be given your hormone. Yet I watched people in the States walk in, talk to their doctor for about 10 or 15 minutes, and the doctor would, okay, do you want your hormone shots now? So a lot of people are doing this in a criminal and malice way. And I hope there's a lot of lawsuits about this, because what these doctors have done is total malpractice. And people like you need to be investigated for pushing this on children, and encouraging others to write in and help to push this on children. Less children will die if they stop this nonsense than will die if they don't. So will the rate go up? It'll always be at about 60-65% suicide rate. You cannot blame the suicides of people on treatments or surgeries or any other thing other than their own mental condition and their own mental state. You know, in my eyes, a child should just be able to openly be who they are until they're of age, and then they can decide if that's the route for them. But the minute you give these kids puberty blockers, you've locked them into this. And not only does it do deathly damage to their bodies, but it encourages the suicide rate to go up. So actually, you're wrong. If you give the kids the treatment, if they stop this pause, more kids will die.
I am a person. Trans people are real. We are people just like everybody else. We deserve to be treated as such, and we deserve our needs and well-being to be met and understood.
Because the taxpayers are the ones paying for all this. The drugs, the surgeries, all of it, the care. So I think the taxpayer should have a say in it. And to sit there and say, well, we deserve this. We don't deserve anything. I was so grateful that I got my transition finished. I didn't expect it to be done. That's why I was grateful. It was nice to have that, and I thanked and still thank people that make a deal about it. Hey, I can't help that this is how it works. But you are sitting there saying, we deserve this and we deserve that. Everything in life is earned. No one just gets anything handed to them on a silver platter. And these transitions are actually considered optional surgery. These are cosmetic surgery. These are not necessary life-saving surgeries like cancer treatments or cancer surgery, heart surgeries, liver transplants, all that kind of stuff. Those are necessary. Those people deserve to have those body parts. But ours is cosmetic and it's not deserved. It's given out to the ones who are worthy. I just don't understand how you can look at yourself in the mirror knowing what you've gone through mentally and emotionally and physically if you've had your surgery. I don't know. You might still be running around with a package, but I can tell you this. The surgery is hardcore, especially when you're this age. And it's not something you want to push on children. I want to see children be children. I want to see them go to school and learn subjects like math and English and geography, history, gym, recess. You know what shit I learned at recess? A ton. But we don't deserve, and nor can we expect anything. And we need to be gracious when it's given. So quit demanding things on behalf of the community that you don't speak for. I don't either. You speak for yourself, and I speak for myself. And I'm just saying, as a trans woman, I disagree with almost everything you've said. Other than we are trans women, we are valid, we are here, we exist. I agree. And what we deserve depends on what we give out. If we give out attitude, we're going to get attitude back. If we send out hate, we're going to get hate back. But if you're nice to people, and cordial to people, generally they'll accept you and be the same back. Quit pushing this on people. Truthfully, I'm surprised it's gone this far. I really am. I'm surprised it's gone as far as it has. And I think it's coming to an end now. I think the communities, all of them, have lost favor with the governments who are paying them and pushing them to do all this. And they're all going to run back to their little straight lives and leave us hanging in the balance to account for all this. You better think about that before you do videos all over the internet encouraging little children to be given dangerous medications. I'm sorry, I just don't agree with you. Anyway, have a nice life. Bye.